So let's move over to the issue with Pope Francis and gender ideology. If you recall, there's supposed to be a document coming out soon from Pope Francis and Cardinal Fernandez, the head of the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith. We don't have a date yet, but Fernandez indicates that it will be out and it is going to be very favorable to the critics of this pontificate. So Pope Francis, as you know, has been very severe in his criticism of gender ideology, and he continues that with this comment. Pope Francis, today, the ugliest danger is gender ideology. He says that this is one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest dangers that we have. And, having seen some of the stuff that's going on in society, it's kind of hard to disagree with him here. Pope Francis on Friday morning gave an address on the importance of building a culture that protects human and Christian vocations. Things he suggested were at risk due to contemporary cultural challenges, including gender ideology. Here's a quote: "It is very important that there is in this today the ugliest danger is gender ideology, which cancels out differences," the Pope said during an audience with members of the French-based academic organization Research and Anthropology of Vocations Institute. Gender ideology, which seeks to blur differences between men and women through movements such as transgenderism, makes everything the same, Francis said. Erasing differences is erasing humanity. Man and woman, however, are in a fruitful tension, Francis told the assembly, which is gathered in Rome for a 2-day international conference. The Pope did not read the full address, instead delegated the task to Monsignor Filippo. He says, "I still have a cold and it's tiring to read for a while." He's been sick. In fact, he had to go to the hospital not long ago. So he had a little hospital visit. So it sounds like he hasn't been doing too well lately. And yeah, he does kind of look a little sick there. I could see it. Focusing the Friday morning address on the anthropological crisis and the necessary promotion of human and Christian vocations, Pope Francis said this task is challenged by myriad social challenges arising from the cultural zeitgeist. The Pope emphasized that this is a foundational element which underlies every call within the community and has to do with an essential characteristic of the human being as such. This discovery, the Pope added, brings us out of the isolation of a self-referential ego and makes us look at ourselves as an identity in relation. It continues, "We sometimes tend to forget or obscure this reality," the Pope says, "which carries the risk of reducing the human being to his sole material needs or primary needs, as if he were an object without conscience and without will, simply dragged by life as part of a mechanical gear." And I'll put a link to the rest of this article in the description if you want to read the rest. But as you can clearly see, Pope Francis still remains very firm against gender ideology. I think he's spoken of it as ideological colonization. And so, in fact, there's a very long list of comments that are very critical in nature of gender ideology that Pope Francis has offered. And as I said, he is going to be releasing a new document soon on the matter, which I think is desperately needed. So I sincerely welcome that. Don't know when it's coming out, but it should be soon. Hey friends, do you want others to discover why the Catholic Church is the church that Jesus established? And do you want to help people make sense of all the confusion in the Catholic Church today? Help contribute to this mission by supporting Reason and Theology at patreon.com/Reason and Theology. By doing so, you'll also get access to exclusive content for patrons only. Also, if you want to deepen your faith, there are free ebooks and even courses that you can sign up for by visiting reason.podia.com.